A girl was crossing the street when suddenly a car struck her, sending her flying through the air before crashing heavily to the ground, ultimately dying. This tragic scene was witnessed by her father, who rushed to her side, crying uncontrollably. But in that moment, he was abruptly jolted awake, finding himself back on the plane from a few hours earlier. Yes, he was trapped in a time loop. Every day at 12 p.m., he would see his daughter struck and killed by a car. The first time this happened, Jack thought it was just a nightmare. However, the events that followed were exactly like those in his dream. Jack was a renowned doctor, admired by flight attendants who eagerly asked for photos and autographs. But he wasn't a great father. After being away on a 2-month business trip, he had missed his daughter's birthday. Then, a sudden incident at the airport called for his attention. As the first person on the scene, Jack saved a young boy's life. Because he was a public figure, an interview was inevitable. When Jack finally arrived to meet his daughter, another car accident occurred. He rushed out to help, finding the driver covered in blood with faint breathing, while the woman in the back seat was already dead. After another ambulance arrived, Jack explained the situation and prepared to go meet his daughter. But as he was on the phone, a strange man answered, and the voice seemed to be coming from nearby. Jack sprinted over, only to find that the body under the white sheet was his daughter. He woke up again back on plane. This time, he turned to see that his assistant was there. Wasn't that the same person from the accident scene? Jack was startled, and then a flight attendant walked up, asking for his autograph. Jack was confused. He'd already signed earlier. Then, his assistant spoke up. "Why don't you take a picture together?" Jack felt a strange sense of déjà vu. After landing, the assistant's words began to sound more familiar. Jack began to wonder, was the next cycle going to involve his child? He hurriedly looked back, and sure enough, he saw a child eating candy, which then got lodged in their throat. Jack rushed to save them. At the press conference that followed, the questions were almost exactly the same as before. Jack grew more and more terrified, his focus slipping. This time, he didn't respond as smoothly as he had last time. Strangely, the event indirectly caused a change in the text message from his daughter. This was a good sign, as it meant she was still alive. Jack immediately got in his car and drove to find her. When passing through the toll booth again, the cashier once again dropped the change due to shaky hands. Jack suddenly realized that everything was repeating in a loop. He didn't stop to pick up the change and quickly drove off. However, when he reached his destination, he was too late. Another car accident had occurred, and his daughter had died again. The third time Jack entered the loop, he quickly texted his daughter, telling her not to stay at that intersection. But for some inexplicable reason, she snapped at him and refused to listen, going to the intersection anyway. Jack drove recklessly, tried to avoid other cars, but unfortunately, he either argued with other drivers or crashed into a trash can due to speeding. Even as he reached his daughter, he witnessed her being struck by a taxi, flying through the air and dying before his very eyes. Jack stood beside her, consumed with regret, frustrated with himself for not being able to save her. Just then, a man suddenly grabbed him. It turned out this man too was trapped in a time loop.